Welcome to English for today. Today is Wednesday, the 20th of January, and today we are learning to use alliteration in our writing, and we're going to find out exactly what that word means in a second. Okay, first of all, to warm up our writing brains, I would like you to, if you've got the worksheet, you can use the handwriting lines that are provided. If you've not got the worksheet, then you can just do this on a bit of paper. That is absolutely fine. The word that I would like you to practice today is Wednesday. I would like you to practice writing this day of the week. I think it's one that we need to revisit. Now remember, Wednesday is a day of the week. It's a proper noun, so that means that it must begin with a capital letter. Remember, your capital letters should look exactly like mine. So you should be using the handwriting sheet if you've got it, and you should be using the lines correctly. My W there is rubbish because I'm using the mouse on my laptop to write it, but yours will be perfect. Make sure that your capital letter touches the top red line, moves down to the third line, up to the top again, down to the third and back up to the top. Now remember, the letters D are ascenders, so you need to make sure that they are touching the top red line. And the letter Y is a descender, so it needs to touch the bottom red line. If you're not using the handwriting lines and you're doing this on some paper, take your time with your letters. I would like you to write the word Wednesday 3 times for me. Pause the video here so that you can practice the spelling of that word. Here is our starter for today to warm up our writing brains even more. I would like you to look at the 7 sentences that are on the screen, and I'm asking you to find all of the verbs. Now, it says read the sentences and circle the verb in each of them. I don't want you guys to circle the verb. I want you to write them down. I want you to make me a list of verbs. Remember, a verb is a doing or an action word. If you can do it, it's a verb. So let's have a little look at the first 2, and then I would like you to do the rest by yourself. Daniel ran in the race. Well, the verb in that sentence is ran, so you will need to write down the word ran. Lily danced for her exam. Danced is the doing word. I can do it, so that must mean it's a verb. I'm going to write down the word danced. For the next few sentences, read them. Write down the verb for me, the doing word. Okay, in today's lesson, we are looking at something that you might not have looked at before, and it's alliteration. 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 Alliteration is the repetition of the same sound or letter at the beginning of each or most of the words in a sentence. Aside from tongue twisters, alliteration is also used in poetry to create different effects, either for a description or to create more drama or danger. Alliteration is often used in song lyrics and within store or brand names. I wonder if you can think of some alliteration for your name. Here are some examples. Super Sam, Terrific Tina. Look at how the first letter of each word is the same. I wonder if you can think of some alliteration for your name. Here are some examples. Magnificent Matthew. Super Scarlet. I wonder if you can pick an adjective that describes you, that begins with the same letter as your first name. Pause the video here and have a little think if you can think of an adjective to describe you that begins with the first letter of your first name. Write it down. Hopefully you've had a chance to think of some alliteration using your name. If you've not, that's okay. I'm going to take you through some more. Here are some examples of alliteration. In these cartoon characters' names, there is alliteration. Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck. Look at how the first letter of their names is the same. Donald Duck, Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse. They start with the same letter. In these tongue twisters, you can see alliteration. She sells seashells down by the seashore. Look at how the letters are the same. They're creating the same sound. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Pause the video and have a go at saying those tongue twisters. They're difficult because the sounds at the start of the sentences, at the start of the words in the sentence, are the same. In the first one, they all begin with the S sound. She sells seashells. The second one all begin with the letter P. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. They all begin with the letter P. The same sound is used. Here are some more examples of alliteration using a letter. Squawking seagulls swoop sunbathers. Sam sees 6 slimy, smooth, slithering snakes. 10 terrible tigers tore Toby's teddy. What letter does each word in this sentence begin with? The letter T. Why not pause the video and see if you can read this tongue twister? Here's another one. 7 snapping sharks swim in the sea. Which letter is used at the start of most of the words? The letter S. Good job. Pause the video, see if you can read this tongue twister. Here's another one. Zany zebras zigzagged through the zoo. The letter Z is used. It's repeated. That's the example of alliteration. The sound is repeated over and over again. Carrie cuddled the cute, curious cats. The letter C is used. It's repeated to create alliteration. In our writing today, I'm going to ask you guys to think of some examples of alliteration. Remember, alliteration is when we use the same letter in the words in our sentence to create the same sounds. Here are 2 things that I'm going to be looking for in our writing today. The first thing I'm looking for is capital letters and full stops, as always. The second thing that I'm looking for is alliteration to be used correctly. Take a look at my example. The brilliant boy bought lots of brand new bags. I've used the letter B and I've highlighted it in red in several words of my sentence. It creates the same sound. The brilliant boy bought lots of brand new bags. In today's lesson, there are 3 activities that I would like you to complete. This is your first one. So, what I would like you to do is think back to what I asked you to do a few minutes ago when I asked you to think about if we could use alliteration with your name. Okay, so I've given you 2 lines on the worksheet, and what I would like you to do is write your name on this line here. Write your name on this line here, the second line. Then I would like you to think of an adjective that describes you that begins with the same letter of your name. So I've thought of somebody's name from my class in 2B and I'm going to use them as an example. I hope they don't mind. If my name was Fern, I would write my name on this line here. Not as neat as Fern, but there we go. I've written my name on the second line. My name isn't Fern, but I'm magpieing Fern, so I hope she doesn't mind. Then I would need to think of an adjective to describe Fern. Now I think Fern is fabulous. So I would then write the word fabulous on this line here. You need to think of an adjective that describes you, that would work with your name. And actually, in today's story time, when we get together at the end of the day, we might ask you to share some of your alliteration names that you've come up with. So if your name is Matthew, you might write Magnificent Matthew. If your name is Madison, you might write Marvellous Madison. I'm thinking of all the M's right now. Okay, so what I would like you to do is write your name on that second line on line number 2, and then think of an adjective to describe you. But it has to start with the same letter as your first name. So I used F in this example. See if you can come up with one yourself. Here is activity number 2 that I would like you to complete this morning. Now, it's a fill in the missing gaps. It says, here are some sentences with some words missing. Fill in the gaps. There is a list of words in the box below to help you to choose. Choose words that start with the same letter as the sentence. And here is my example. Angry, Adam, ate, ants. They all start with the same sound at the beginning, the A sound or A, the same letter. So look at this one, wobbly will something wellies. Now in the box here, you've got lots of examples. I'm going to just circle all the ones that begin with W because I know that W is the one that I'm looking for. And then what I'm going to do is try and work out which one makes the most sense. Would it be wobbly will wears wellies, wobbly will wins wellies, or wobbly will wiggles wellies? Which one makes the most sense? Hopefully you said this one. Hopefully you said the first one. Wobbly will wears wellies. I would like you to work through the rest. You can choose whichever word you want to fill in the blank. If you want to make one a little bit silly, that's okay too. Remember though, they've got to have the same sound at the start. And finally, this is your third activity, what I would like you to complete. This time you're not choosing any words from a box, you're making them up. So remember to start the word with the same letter as what the sentence starts with. Okay, so the first one says one orange. You would have to think of something that starts with the letter O, maybe orangutan. That's just the first thing that popped into my head. Then it says 2 talking, 3 terrible, 4 frightening, and 5 fun. Maybe fish, 5 fun fish. Okay, I would like you now to fill in each activity. If you need to go back and listen to me explain it again, you can do if you want to. But remember, there are 3 activities and I would like you to complete each one. Now, I'm going to repeat what I said before. In today's story time, when we go live, we might ask you to share with us your alliteration name. So make sure you've got it and you've locked it tight in your mind so that you can share it with us later if you want to. Okay, boys and girls, thank you.